Well, for all of you Disney lovers out there that are especially fans of the Black Princess Tiana, exciting news. Today, Disney announced that it will be retheming Splash Mountain at Disneyland and Magic Kingdom. One is in Los Angeles, one is in Orlando. The new story for the attraction will be based on the adventures of Princess Tiana from the Disney animated feature The Princess and the Frog. According to the Walt Disney Company, the attraction will pick up after the final kiss and join Princess Tiana and Louis on a musical adventure featuring some of the most powerful music from the film as they prepare for their first ever Mardi Gras performance. Princess Tiana is an empowered, courageous, and modern woman who has the courage to pursue her dreams and not lose sight of what is important. That is what Disney said today about Princess Tiana as they told children, families everywhere that this would be happening at the theme parks.
I love this. This is it's like a rebrand, and you know what it says once again is that we can celebrate these characters, and just like they were talking about the new male prince, African American prince, and so much teaching going on now, and because I think a lot of times people probably wouldn't have even paid attention to it, but when they bring their children, the teaching will be there, and we're seeing it every single day.
The wonderful thing about this, Jane, too, is two of the lead women on this project. One of them's name is Sharita Carter. She is a senior creative producer with Walt Disney Imagineering, that's what they call it. She is going to be one of the African-American women who is helping, leading the way to put this together. And she says, like Princess Tiana, I believe that courage and love are the key ingredients for wonderful adventures. I'm delighted to be a part of bringing this fun-filled experience to our guests. So that's exciting. And the other woman that I want to talk about who's on this project is a woman by the name of Carmen Smith. She's creative development for Walt Disney Imagineering also. She's also on the project. So not only is this theme park being reimagined with this wonderful, vibrant theme of New Orleans and Louisiana and the Bayou and that sort of thing, but two of the leads behind the project are women of color. So kudos to Disney for really bringing strong voices to the table and being inclusive and doing the things.
And having them drive it.
And having them, yeah, absolutely, having them have this input to make sure that everybody enjoys this and it's not something that people are left out of or feel upset by or anything like that. This is a really wonderful thing to hear that Disney is moving forward in this direction.
We love this new rebrand. Well, still to come, a fresh batch. We'll speak with one of the relatives of an Aunt Jemima actress on her thoughts on Quaker Oats Company changing the packaging. Find out what she has to say when Ladies First continues. Hello, Ms. Harris. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How's everybody doing today? And thank you for giving me this opportunity today.
Oh, we're so happy that you joined us. You've got quite a history, and so we'll be so happy to just share it with everyone today. Can you hear me? Can you hear us? Maybe not. But anyway, welcome. Okay. All righty. Well, you're gonna be joining us shortly, so we'll be so happy to just chat. Oh, okay.
Hey, Michael.
Hey, Miss Harris, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Can you count to 10 for me? Can you count to 10 for me? I'm trying to get our go check, please.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Thank you.
Welcome back, everyone. Well, we mentioned to you last week that Quaker Oats is getting rid of the Aunt Jemima pancake brand and logo, following an acknowledgement that its origins are based on a derogatory racial stereotype.
Since then, relatives of the former Aunt Jemima spokeswomen say they are concerned that their family history will be easily erased as Quaker Oats moves to rebrand the syrup and the pancake mix. Joining us today now to talk about the company's decision is Vera Harris, the niece of Lily and Richard, one of the women who portrayed Aunt Jemima for the last 20 years. We're so happy to have you, Vera. And, you know, I know your family must have been surprised, or maybe not, but what was their reaction when they first got the word that Quaker Oats was about to change the packaging?
Yes, we were surprised. I was most certainly surprised. We were, my aunt, Lillian Richards, she was, we have determined that she is the third one of the 12 have played Aunt Jemima. And we were surprised because we were happy for her to have that job back in that day. And that was in 1911. So that was over 109 years ago.
Wow.
So that left out and went to Dallas, left Texas, and went to Dallas to find work. And the company Quaker Oats, they discovered her and to be their spokesperson. So we were very excited for her. My parents and my grandparents, they were, because they always told me about her as I was growing up. So to find out that they were doing away with that portion of it was a surprise.
Well, Vera, it is quite historical what's happening. Unfortunately, your audio is a little bit bad. You know how technology is sometimes with these platforms. We're having a little bit of difficulty hearing you and hearing exactly what you're saying. Real quick, though, what would you like to see moving forward for that brand? Yeah, it looks like we did lose her. You know, sometimes with technology, we'll try and get her back on, though, because we would love to hear her thoughts on what her family thinks of what's happening. So we'll have to join her another time and see if we can get that Skype back up for you. But still to come, up and away, one of the biggest tourist attractions in the world has reopened for business today. Find out what safety measures you have to follow in order to visit. That's when Ladies First returns. The world's second deadliest Ebola outbreak on record has been declared over. The Democratic Republic of Congo's health minister made the announcement today. About 16,000 frontline responders battled for almost 2 years against the country's 10th outbreak. Despite successfully deploying 2 separate vaccines, the outbreak claimed over 2,200 lives. The country now turns its attention to battling COVID-19, as well as its 11th Ebola outbreak already underway in the Western Equator province. Australian airline Qantas is cutting at least 6,000 jobs, around 20% of its total workforce, as the airline struggles to recover from the coronavirus crisis. At least 15,000 of its employees are also being furloughed, and up to 100 aircrafts are being grounded through the next year. The announcement today is part of a 3-year plan to cut costs by 15 billion Australian dollars, which is around 10 billion US dollars. Last week, the airline announced all scheduled international flights, except for those between Australia and New Zealand, are suspended at least until the end of October. Well, it's visited by almost 7 million tourists a year, but for the last 3 months, the Eiffel Tower in Paris has stood empty, the longest closure since World War II. It has finally reopened to the public today with social distancing measures in place, but everything will not be back to normal just yet. In order to avoid crowds in a confined space, the lifts are, for the moment, out of use. So there you have it. Visitors can finally return to the Eiffel Tower. Of course, behind Disney World and Las Vegas, it's usually number one. It varies year to year, but the Eiffel Tower is one of the most visited tourist destinations in the entire world.
But you wonder about the numbers, because we still got to be able to get on planes to go visit it, and most of us, they were just talking about cutting back those Australian planes. I mean, how many of us are going, at least at this point, until the end of October, we're going to be willing to go and visit, even though it's been on so many people's bucket list?
Yeah, so, especially the Eiffel Tower. If you're an American, I mean, let's face it, that's a good, that's a long haul. That's a good 8-9 hour flight, depending on which, route you take. So most people don't want to be Americans don't want to be on a plane that long.
Not right now.
To go and visit, a tourist destination where it's not even fully open. So difficult around the world. Everybody experiencing.
I mean, we're happy that they're open, and we're happy to see these things open a little at a time. But watching what's happening to us in this country, we hope again that, like every place else, it's not premature, because if it's premature, then what we were afraid of, remember 2 weeks ago when we talked about, them opening up so early, and we thought we were a little leery, and now we're starting to see the numbers. And I think this applies all over the world. In other words, if, let's say, some Americans travel now to Paris, you can just see this thing going back and forth. And, I wonder if we're going to come to having a worldwide model for all of the countries to, certainly take place and participate in, so that we can eventually really flatten the curve. That's my hope, and that's my prayer.
That's called the World Health Organization, which Donald Trump has decided we're no longer a part of. So unfortunately, I think we would like to see that, Jane, most people.
Absolutely.
But certainly not happening. Different countries have different rules, restrictions. The United States not even participating in cooperating and trying to, gather research and data together. So unfortunately, not happening anytime soon. It's up to individual cities, counties, states to determine what the regulations are to keep their citizens safe.
So we won't be going to see the Eiffel Tower anytime soon.
No,
that's
mademoiselle.
Well, still to come.
Madame, actually. Madame, you're married.
Right. Still to come, back with the Wind. We'll discuss one of the latest additions to the 1930s classic Gone with the Wind, as it makes its return to HBO when Ladies First continues.
Mic check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.